Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Christine Rutner, and I'm in the marketing department here at Lightspeed. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar with our partners at Rollick. You can go to the next slide. Just a couple of housekeeping items just to let you know the webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions, please type them in the bottom. There's a Q&A field where you can type in your questions and we'll try to get answers to you on all of those questions that are answered during today's webinar. And then also a recording of the webinar will be sent out to you within the next couple of days so that you can either rewatch it or share with your colleagues. You can go to the next slide and turn it over to John McFarland.
Sure thing. Thank you. So we have a ongoing partnership with Rollick with Lightspeed. We've been around Lightspeed, as for those of you who don't know, we started back in 1986. Been around for growing strong ever since then. We've gone from just a single dealership to help manage their parts inventory back in the person who wanted some help with managing their inventory back in 86, back to over 4,000 dealers, serving the several different industries: power sports, marine, RV, trailer, golf, and OPE. So a lot of growth and excitement during that time. Seen a lot of the different manufacturers and go through the slumps and ride the waves and the highs and lows of the motorcycle industry and the power sports and RV and marine and so forth. So ups and downs there. And several years ago, we started a partnership as well with Rollick to help our system be even stronger with some lead integration, some marketing follow up.
Sure. Thanks, John. So I'll kind of walk through kind of our integrations and who we are, what we do together to try to make it even better for all of our dealerships. Just like Lightspeed, we're in the same segments. We're in power sports, RV, marine, OPE, golf carts, trailers, multiple different segments. Our goal at Rollick as a marketing and technology solutions company is to help OEMs and dealers find, win, and keep their customers. We do this with about 3,500 connected dealers nationwide, including Canada, plus about 135 different OEMs. So I have a few highlighted here in all three segments. Our purpose is pretty simple, right? How do we generate the highest quality leads from unique audiences, new and unique audiences? How do we create more customer engagement on dealer and OEM websites? So a lot of our technology is on OEM websites as well as dealers. How do we get more visibility over the leads from a prospect nurture to a sale? And then how do we provide more reporting and customer experiences, share with you guys what customers are saying? So I'm going to share a little bit more about our future of buying study. At the end, I'll share a brand new ebook we just released to the industry that will be a QR code you guys can download and take it to your advantage, see what real consumers are saying. So let's get started. John, feel free to chime in as well. I'm going to turn off the camera real quick as I go through. I like to be able to see the slides full view, and I'll come back on when we do the Q&A session. All right, so high level, let me just get my screen moving. Okay, so what we're seeing is pretty simple, right? Dealers are facing a lot of challenges today, right? We're getting more online leads than ever. We're seeing about 95% of customers are submitting leads electronically versus being in store. We're seeing a challenge to all those online leads. How do you handle the in-store customers, right, versus the customers that are online, being able to do both? How do we streamline all this activity to have your dealership do a lot more with the technology with less people? So that's where kind of our goal is. And we're seeing, again, over 65% of customers are relying on technology more ever than before. And how do we optimize that for your dealerships? All right, so there's going to be three things we're going to go over. We're going to share how the Lightspeed Rollick integration can help your dealership. We're going to see how online customer shopping activity in the Lightspeed CRM in the leads, quotes, and deals tabs. We're going to how do we increase your website close rate with the Rollick Engage tool on your website. We're seeing with our Engage tool 75% faster close rates and a double X increase in close percentages. Then how do we deliver the highest quality follow-up emails through Rollick Nurture? And that's how we're doing this Lightspeed. So what I want to do is, again, share some of the data points. Rollick did this future of buying study with over 27,000 prospects and owners in recreation, right? Those are dedicated audience that we work with every day. It's pretty interesting to see when an online lead is submitted to purchase, right? We're seeing it's pretty interesting. In power sports, it's much quicker, right? 49% of consumers want to buy within that first 30 days. If you look at marine, usually about 30% want to buy within 30 days and 33% within 3 months and on out from there up to a year. In RV, 36% want to buy within those 30 days and then 31% within those 3 months. You can see in all three of these segments, the difference between buy time frame from initial lead to purchase from that study and what consumers are doing today. What's interesting we do about Rollick is every online engagement with Rollick's tools, we are requiring the customer to provide their time to purchase, right? When they submit a lead, they're looking to purchase within 1 to 5 days, 3 months, 30 days. We're asking those questions. So every online lead you get with Rollick can be able to track that customer's engagement and when they're looking to purchase. All right, so how are consumer interacting in our outdoor recreation space, right? With OEMs and dealers. What's really interesting on this slide is that it's pretty interesting to see. You can see on the left side to the right side, right? Right now, 65% of all outdoor recreation customers go to the brand website and the dealer website, right? For inventory and research. So you can see pretty high here. How important is it to keep your website up to date, keep all the images there, your inventory up there, because consumers are going there to learn and get get knowledge and do research. Social media has played a huge impact on consumer buying decisions, right? You can see here, 50% of consumers go to online product forums. They go to Facebook, they go to YouTube, they go to Facebook groups they join. I mean, it's pretty evident of how that is resonating across our industry. Another 50% are looking at online influencers, and then how important your dealer website and social media channels up to date is. Over 50% are going to your dealer website, look at your social media to see more about you. So it's very, very important to maintain a good social media presence, keep your reviews and all that up to date on a regular basis. The other piece that we want to share is the shopping preferences, right? What's really interesting you can see is a lot of people always say, well, consumers are going to want to do it all online. In rec, that's not the case, right? Not the case at all. Consumers are going to go online. They're going to start doing their research first, right? So majority of customers go online, do research in all three segments. They're looking for your inventory. They're going to the brand website, to your website, back and forth, looking for available inventory. They're starting to price. They're starting to personalize what they're looking for with the specs, the options. Then they're going to explore financing, whether they want to pay cash, whether they want to finance, if they want to apply for credit through one of your local institutions, or they want to go through a credit union, right? They're starting to do all that research online. When it comes down to getting a value in a trade, getting a quote, and then completing the transaction, that shift is pretty large going into in-store, right? So having a great online presence up front, giving the consumer all the ability to do all those pieces up front, but then being able to switch them from online to in-store is a huge optimization, can help your dealership. So what I want to share is how Rollick and Lightspeed are partnered together to be able to do this, right? So everybody on here is very familiar with the leads, quotes, and deals tab, right? You guys use this every day on a regular basis with the CRM. Rollick has integrated our technology with our proprietary algorithm, right, to allow all leads being scored, depending on, it doesn't matter what the source is, inside the leads, quotes, and deals tabs. So you can see the scores change. You can see right here, these flames. So there's a tab here that John did a great job in integrating in Lightspeed. So these flames here from 1 to 5 give you the ability to score every customer. So you can see it could be a Rollick lead, could be a 700 credit lead, could be a walk-in. Those leads are scored, and that score changes dynamically on a daily basis based on that customer's digital engagement. So John, I'm going to pause there and see, I know you have a lot of feedback and what we're doing on the Lightspeed side with Rollick.
Sure, yeah, that's great. This has been a real hit for the dealers utilizing this, because not only does it give you, I mean, obviously you want to follow up with each and every lead, but sometimes that you want to follow up with those leads that are ready to buy more quickly, like the flame score indicates. And not only does it have the flame score, but once you drill into this lead as well, you get even more information about those particular leads. Like
Yeah,
right
so
here
John
as
added the little, so there's a little hourglass there you guys can see. You've probably seen it now. I think, John, if you're not enrolled with Rollick and Lightspeed, it's grayed out. So
That's correct.
what happens is now once you go to your subscriptions and enroll with Rollick and Lightspeed, you're going to drill down, to John's point, you're going to drill down into the direct consumer behavior. Go ahead, John. I didn't want to cut you off. I just want to make sure I
Oh
got
no,
you.
yeah, it's great. That's perfect what I was looking for. So yeah, oftentimes you'll get the lead, before the Lens integration and without Lens, you'll get the lead. You'll see that somebody's interested in a particular year, make, model, which is great. You'll follow up with them, but here you'll get so much more information, like where else has the customer been? Have they come in for appointments elsewhere? Have they received any other sort of marketing emails? What other models might they be interested in? So just a ton more information to deal with on a for each salesperson to deal with as they're approaching leads, that they can more freely customize their emails to this customer. They can see maybe they're interested in one unit while they've been browsing for another unit. Maybe I'll mention that as well. So just a lot more information to gear up with when and it's directly within the lead in process as well. So you can view it right here in Lightspeed.
John, what I hear time and time again from the sales staff when I'm meeting dealers is like, man, I've called him, I've texted him back and forth, I'm not hearing back from him. Like, where'd he go? He went dark. What if you had your sales team had the ability to go in here and see that, right? They're sitting at home at night, 7 o'clock, 7:30, watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, flipping through the news, and they're shopping, right? They're on your website. They're going these pages. This one, 24 minutes, 34 seconds, 5 pages, new and used inventory. They send a quote in, right? We send a nurture email. They come back on, they spend another 18 minutes and 12 seconds, view another 7 pages. What if your sales team had all that visibility in these customers, right, to know how engaged they are? And they could walk in the next morning and then sort by that flame score, right, John, and be able to see, hey, this guy's been shopping a website, viewed multiple pages, spent multiple minutes looking at my inventory. I'm going to give him a call this morning, right? Because I know that I've seen what he's doing. You don't have to be creepy about it. You can just, hey, I'm just following up, checking on you. But it's what we're seeing on a regular basis, John, is that the people don't answer phones or working during the day. How do we get them? How do we check and see what they're doing and see if they're engaged in the purchase?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So that kind of gives you a good idea of how we have the Lens and Score integrated. The other thing I like to share is, how often does a consumer have to, get to your website to make it more seamless and frictionless, right? Think about when you're shopping online today, you're looking for the least amount of clicks, right? You're looking to see if I can find inventory, click the button and be done. Right, that's a consumer's perception of everything they do. Now in outdoor rec, where we have a challenge right now where we have multiple call to action buttons on our website. So the customer has the dilemma in front of them. Do I click request a quote? Do I click pre-qual for financing? Do I click apply for finance? Do I click schedule an appointment? Do I click value a trade? Do I click offers? What do I do, right? There's so much duplication of effort. How do we make that easier? So Rollick has brought it on our Rollick Engage tool, which allows the consumer to go as far down the funnel as they want, right? We shared earlier in the slides how the consumer is going to go further and further down the funnel if you give them that opportunity, right? So if they want to request a quote, if they want to estimate a trade, and if they want to do special offers, all they have to do is enter their information one time, right? We'll capture their first name, last name, email address, their buy time frame, all the different information, but then we can actually make it even more like a super lead for your sales team, right? So if they want to reserve a unit, no problem. Rollick has integration with Connect. We have Authorize.net, Chase Payment Tech, Stripe. We can take a deposit, or we can just let the customer measure their intent to purchase by putting that buy time frame down, and they want to leave a deposit. If they want to have a trade-in, Rollick integrates on the estimate trade-in right here with JD Power. We can pull the JD Power range in on trade-in values right for that consumer without having to go out to another site and find that information, right? It's all integrated to one solution on our Engage tool. They can schedule an appointment. They can explore financing. So we have a partnership right here with 700 Credit. So if you're a 700 Credit dealer, we can integrate with 700 Credit platform right here. If you're a Priority One dealer, we can also integrate there. If you're a Revable dealer or Prepare, we're integrating all these financing partners, Aqua, things like that, to be able to insert this into your dealership. Right now, Winnebago is using it on their website, for example. They're seeing a 75 increase percent of deals closed 75% faster using our Engage tool. And again, you're seeing a 2x increase in close rate when a consumer uses our Rollick Engage tool right here, right? Just, it makes the process more streamlined, more frictionless, and gives that consumer, moves them down the funnel of the purchase much, much faster. And you can see here special offers. A lot of dealerships are offering, doing unique offers, right? In today's economy, we have a unique special offers button where we can integrate with one of our partners, with USAA, with AAA, with Sam's Club. We can help and highlight that partnership, that integration with them to help show how these customers close at a higher rate. What we're seeing is pretty interesting, is about 70% of consumers feel like brand trust is more important, and 53% saying it's the second most influential decision when making a buying decision, right? So you can see here, we brought this in with USA. I think, John, you're a USA member, I think you said, right?
I am, yes.
So you know how loyal the brand is, right? You know, as a member, you pretty much go there to kind of see anything, help you to navigate through the most trusted partners out there, correct?
Oh, for sure, yeah. A lot of my regular home, auto, credit cards, insurance, everything running through USA. And yeah, I think loyalty is very high with them for sure.
We're seeing a huge impact with loyalty, right? So that buying study, again, reflecting back on that, the amount of trust customers have with USAA. If USAA vets it, they have it. So Rollick has done a partnership with USAA. We partner with several large RV manufacturers offering incentive, all funded by the manufacturer, up to $3,000 for RVs. For power sports with Polaris, do up to $750 with Polaris side-by-sides and ATVs. And then, for example, like Barletta pontoon boats, up to $2,500. These are all offers that Rollick has vetted with USAA and the manufacturer. All the member has to do is register as a member to redeem. They make that purchase at your dealership, and then Rollick will fulfill a gift card for that amount directly to the consumer in a form of MasterCard gift card. So it's all funded by the OEM. It's pretty new out there. Most dealers that we talk to at all the conferences aren't totally aware of it. So we're trying to get the word out, and we're trying to back up this stat of how impactful consumers react to companies like USAA, right? The brand of trust, 13 million of the most loyal members across the country. So it's really, really important. If your dealership is not aware of it, put in the Q&A. Dustin on our team is on the call. He can reach out to share how we're doing this for different manufacturers. Thanks, John. Just want to make sure, I know you're a big USA member, so want to make sure you have that opportunity to share. All right, so we summarize, so the Rollick and Lightspeed engagement tool and all of our tools together that work, right? So we want to do is have all these leads go to your CRM, right? So your Lightspeed CRM. So what we've done is we're in the process of launching this digital engagement lead summary. So this is a real example. So we collected all that information on the Engage tool, right? Customer and all this. So this is a great summary right here of John Smith, right? Name is anonymous, but basically it's a real customer, submitted multiple leads on multiple different travel trailers, indicated his buy time frame was in 1 to 3 months. He disclosed he has a household income of $175,000 with 2 years on the job. He's browsed multiple fifth wheels, ranging from new and used, from all the different brands, from Alliance to Arctic Wolf to Forest River. And then we see he's been on the website shopping. He shopped for 54 total minutes and visited 69 pages total. Wants to put a down payment of $6,000, wants to have a monthly payment of $549, and already scheduled an appointment, right? All that is helping your sales team close that lead at a higher rate, get all that information up front for that consumer to create a much more seamless experience. So John, how would that impact be for the CRM, those kind of details coming into Lightspeed CRM with this kind of summary? Would that help?
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, the more the better. We try and get as much information as possible with a basic lead, but having all this detail on top of what we already receive, just the more, any advantage you have on getting further information about the lead is certainly goes a long way towards closing that deal.
Yeah, and to John's point, remember we can deep dive into the summary. So you can see on the right side, all the pages with the Rollick Lens score, all the pages they visited, what kind of their shopping behavior is, if they didn't engage for 2 days or 3 days, all that's here in this summary, and just makes your sales team more informed and more, excited to reach that customer. When they have this, if I had all this information before I make my first call, it's just such an easier conversation with that customer. So we're trying to bring all this information that Rollick and Lightspeed are collecting together and give your sales team more ammunition to close deals faster at a much higher rate. All right, so Let's talk a little about nurture. So this is pretty interesting again. So this is going back to the buying study. Consumers are expecting timely, frequent, and relevant communication all through the buying journey. Consumers are opening up our emails up to a year later, right? The Rollick Nurture emails are up to a year later. So you're seeing the consumers not only expecting an email, a phone call, a text all the same day, they're expecting relevant information timely on a monthly basis. They're expecting, a cadence of regular communication from your dealership. And that's why it's so important to have the Lightspeed CRM, be able to have this in here, be able to track and log all the customer activities and see where they are in that buying journey. So this kind of gives you an idea of what consumers are expecting. Nurture, so this is where we bring in the nurture. So Rollick is partnered with Lightspeed. So as part of this package with the lens and the score, we've also packaged in nurture. You can see here in the top right, we have the ability to create a set it and forget it email nurture stream, right? Dedicated emails. Remember, customers looking to have email cadence up to a year when they put a lead in. So we have this track. So we know that customers' engagement. We know how many times they're coming to the website. We know their purchase time frame. So we can create this cadence based on if they're looking to buy within the first 20 days or they're 60 days or 120 days out. We have this full buy time frame here in the top right that shares these emails where they can connect and reply to these customers all in the back end. Already we know you guys are using your CRM, you're calling and texting customers. But the one thing it's missing, and we're seeing about 95% of dealers don't have a dedicated nurture email stream. So we're using our Rollick Lens and Score with Lightspeed to pass on these dedicated emails. In fact, here's a stat here I love to share. So we did this for a major OEM for 1,000 plus of their dealers nationwide. Dealers that received the Rollick email nurture on the back end of the phone calls and text your team is already doing, we're seeing a 39% increase in close rate for customers that receive this Rollick Nurture email after they put a lead in. So it's pretty impactful. Those numbers are real numbers from a real dealers across the country. So we want to share that as helping you do it. So it's pretty simple, and we built it to where it's almost nothing for you to do, right? You just have to show and tell us, hey, what are your social media channels? We put them in. Hey, let's send us your logo. What's your color scheme on your website? Give us a paragraph about your dealership, or how do you want to customize these emails? All this can be put in our system, and then it'll generate these nurture emails in the back end. It's nothing for you to do. It's pretty simple. We're able to see here, and put myself right here. So you can see the cadence emails. So the emails are what we call transactional, meaning that the emails you're able to click to schedule an appointment, search inventory, get financing. They can click to call your dealership. They can click to navigate to your dealership. All the look and feels, all looks like it's coming directly from your dealership. You won't even be able to tell. The way we set it up, it's coming directly from your sales team for that customer to get that email in addition to your phone calls and your text message you're already doing. So this is a set it and forget it email nurture stream that we have built for your dealership as part of the Rollick and Lightspeed integration. If I go down here, you can see emails 3 through 6, just a sample of what they look like. Again, they're customizable, meaning you can change the images each week, each month, depending on your cadence. We do it for you with our account manager. We can put in all your description about what you want to say on each email. It's very customizable, but the transaction, the look and flow is still the same. It's very transactional. The consumer has to click to one of the buttons or reply to all for you to get that notification. So for example, if they click to get an appointment, you can see here they can put their preferred date, time to come either in store or over a phone appointment, morning, afternoon. That email notification would go right to your sales team personnel to set up that appointment with that customer right through and put that right in the Lightspeed CRM. John, will this help with the CRM on your side?
Yeah, for sure. Again, just kind of dovetailing off the rest of it, the more any information you have that can further engage the customer, it's fantastic. The big issue that a lot of dealers run into is well, one, your salespeople don't know who to follow up with, or they should be following up with everybody, but they want to have certain priority on who to follow up with. This helps with that, and then also for when the end user, the consumer, sees that they're actually getting some interaction with the customer with themselves, then they'll say, they'll be more likely to be brought into the dealership. They're going to be sending off more than likely they're going to put more than one lead out there, and whoever's more responsive to the lead is more likely going to buy with them. So these, again, just further engagement with the customer is going to make them more and more likely to buy as well.
Yeah, John, it's a great point. Remember in the Rollick Lens and Score, we showed that in the Lightspeed CRM, you can see the emails. You can click on the emails and see exactly what the consumer opened. You can see they opened it, they clicked through the email, they submitted another lead. All that is visible within Lightspeed, and that's what's so important about seeing these emails. So if I go back to the slide real quick, and you can see, right here, I shared, you can see right here, these are the emails. You can see that the customer is opening the emails, clicking through them from the nurture email. So it's really important and gives your sales team that visibility. Remember, they're calling and texting them. They might not be calling back your salesperson, but on the back end, they're still doing the research, they're still engaging, you're still looking at your inventory, and they're engaging with the nurture emails. Again, going back to the stat, 39% increase in close rate from these emails, right, came from these dedicated emails that go out to the customer. All right, so one thing I want to share, so this is really, hopefully really insightful for you. Rollick just launched the Rollick ebook. So we all know, right, in today's super fast-paced world with constant pressure of balancing daily operations with customer expectations, this ebook shares real-life examples on challenges that common prospects face when they don't receive timely responses. John just mentioned it, right? When they don't get timely responses, they look elsewhere. How do we show and how do we bring that customer back with these technology and tools to keep that customer engaged in the buying journey, right? The goal of the ebook was to share our findings and support you and your dealership as a trusted partner, right? So a lead is never lost, right? If you're using all the Lightspeed tools, all the Rollick tools, a customer is never lost. They're always trackable inside the Lightspeed CRM. And then one of the things we broke it down is like, okay, no one called me. There's 3 keys, pieces in this book. No one called me. I didn't receive a call or call back. I have a specific question about the unit, or can you share the pricing information? What's your tax, title, license, doc, fee, all that information. There's hundreds of examples in this ebook that allows you to kind of see what consumers are expecting and how we can use these Rollick and Lightspeed tools to help each other together. So I'm going to put my camera back on. I think it was off. Give me a second. So we have a few minutes, John, to anything else you want to add and probably take some questions from the audience. And I think Dustin Hunt on the Rollick team is our in-house Rollick Lightspeed expert here to can help pull some of the questions up and also schedule any follow-up calls, Dustin, if you might have anybody in the QA.
Sure. I don't see any questions just yet.
Okay. John, anything else you wanted to add? Or Dustin, anything you want to add too, as far as what we didn't cover that's important?
No, I thought you guys did a great job. I think it's definitely some good upgrades and enhancements inside of the system to help the team prioritize, the different activities and seeing, what the customers are doing, because all this is going on in the background, right? And giving the visibility is, I think, really the huge value add here. But I'm happy to follow up after this to give a more thorough overview of what that will look like, or of course answer any questions. So that's what I'm on the lookout for.
Yeah, Dustin can reach out to you, set up a real quick webinar walkthrough of how it looks for your dealership. Again, every dealership's different between a power sport, RV, and marine. We can set up a call and then he can walk through what it would look like in your leads, quotes, and deals tab. Again, you probably would see that hourglass, John, which is grayed out right now until they subscribe with the subscriptions. And then sign up with Lightspeed. They wouldn't have access to the leads, quotes, and deals, right, with this lens or score aspect yet.
Yep.
I know we get a lot of questions, Dustin, right, when they're calling in about what does this mean?
Yeah. And I'd be happy to give an overview before we went down there, because there are some steps to take to get that set up. But if anyone's interested, I'm happy to give you an idea what that would look like. Very common though.
Perfect. Christine, do you see any questions there? I'm going to make sure I see something on the top. I'm not sure if we missed any out there.
I do see a few questions. Does Rollick integrate with Dealer Spike at all?
Yes, 100%. So Dustin, you want to share the Dealer Spike integration with Lead Venture, all the Lead Venture sites on our Engage tool?
Yeah, so we're actually an approved vendor from Lead Venture. So we not only do we work effortlessly with Lead Venture, we have a lot of things in place to make sure it's as smooth as possible. So everything that you saw today would work with Dealer Spike, Interact RV, ARI website. Absolutely.
Okay, next question. When do you expect AI to be integrated with the nurture emails?
Yeah, we are in the process this quarter. Actually, it's almost the end of March. But yeah, the next quarter we'll be bringing the AI aspect in the nurture emails. So you can see there, if you can see how we're changing the images, we're changing multiple different things. If you see this, the lead summary I just shared, all that is AI. That AI right now is pulling all that customer's data, and we're going to change that. So when an email goes out, it'll be respected. It'll know if they're riding side by side. So I'm in Florida, right? So I ride in the mud and the sand. The images will not be an image of the desert where John lives, right? We're going to have the image change. If we know they have a family, we're going to show images of the family. So all that will be coming next quarter with our email nurture. You want to add anything else, Dustin? I know what you're saying.
No, I'm glad that someone's asking about that. We're very excited about the update there, getting all that customers' information and more of what we know of, and being able to customize those emails. We expect really, really good feedback from that, and so that is in the testing phase and coming within the next few weeks, hopefully.
Wonderful. Last question that I see, which email cadence is a lead subscribed to when a lead is added in manually to Lightspeed?
So on that, a lead getting added into Lightspeed manually would have its own point associated with it. Likely they would be at kind of at the standard 60-day cadence, which would be 6 emails over 60 days until they sell, right? If a consumer ends up purchasing, we have disposition match to be able to pick up on that and stop the stream. But once that lead is entered inside of Lightspeed, say they make substantial activities on the digital front, they could get accelerated based on what the needs were for the individual location. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
That's a great point. So I'm going back to that slide where the cadence is, right? So generally let's say they put a lead in today, they indicate their buy time frame is less than a week. They have significant website activity. They want to leave a deposit. I mean, depending, that cadence would be shorter. If they indicate their buy time frame is 1 to 3 months, right? They're kind of just shopping. That cadence would go out along a longer cadence for the email. And that's kind of how we look at it. It's all dependent on that Rollick proprietary algorithm with a lens and score that we integrate within Lightspeed. Hopefully that answered the question. If you want any follow-up questions, I want to make sure that's the confusing part. That's a great part. Dustin can jump on a web demo with you to kind of walk through any specific questions. He'll get a list of all the participants, and if you have any questions, please type them in. We can obviously reach out to us, Christine, the Rollick Lightspeed team. We have an email. I think we have Dustin. We have your email and my email at the last thing here. Yeah.
Yep.
So dustin.hunt@rollick.io. You can reach out or call him on his mobile. We have it set up that way for you guys to reach out, and then we can set up a demo on all the Lightspeed integration and technology. And then the ebook. So again, the ebook is just released. It's on the rollick.io/ebooks. It's on our website. There's a QR code. I'll leave it here for a second if anyone wants to scan that. We're going to be doing several press releases on it. Christine, you have a copy too.
Yes.
We want to blast it out the industry to see, how we can leverage Lightspeed technology with Rollick to help these customers that we're seeing these challenges from the direct quotes we're seeing in the ebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Look for a email with a recording to this webinar. And then again, if you have any questions or need any additional information, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Thanks, Christine.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.